Have you ever watched her walk away and felt your world rearrange itself? Around a hole she left behind? That night replaying in your skull? The laugh that wasn't for you? The sudden silence? The message that slid into nothing? It's a slow-burning collapse. You promised yourself you'd be different next time. You swore you'd be stronger. But the truth you won't admit is this. You didn't lose her because you weren't enough. You lost her because you stopped being the man she felt alive around. Think about the last thing she said before the door closed. Hold that sentence. Feel how it lands in your chest. Does it hum with accusation? With indifference? With a lie you stayed with too long? That sentence is a map, not of her but of where you surrendered your power. Tonight I'm going to show you something dangerous. Not how to punish her, but how to rebuild yourself so completely that regret becomes her problem, not yours. I will teach you the 7 truths that break the pattern of cheap validation, the small Stoic practices that rebuild a man's center, and the one invisible habit that makes her notice the man she missed. Before we go on, write the last word she said to you in the comments. Not to shame her, to remove their weight from your throat. If you're ready to stop being haunted and start being remembered, subscribe. This isn't vengeance, it's transformation. Stay with me. The Stoic Foundation. Change yourself, not her. Before anything else, understand this. You cannot make someone want you. You can only become the kind of man who naturally draws the right people into your life. Stoicism teaches us to control the only thing we truly own, our mind and actions. The rest is external. Accept that. Then use that acceptance as fuel. Think of Marcus Aurelius in modern terms. A man composed, purposeful, kind, and firm. He didn't hustle for attention. He created a life where attention was a byproduct of his work. That's what we'll build. Presence that attracts, not chases. Fun presence, the single most valuable currency. Presence is the luxury most men can't afford because their attention is cheap. Presence means being fully there. Eyes, energy, and intention aligned. It's what makes a woman feel seen. And feeling seen creates emotional attachment faster than anything else. Story, James in London used to scroll his phone on dates. He was handsome, had a good job, but women left him after a few weeks. He changed one habit. He put the phone face down and learned to listen with curiosity. He stopped thinking of what to say next and instead felt what she was feeling. Emily, a woman he met at a bookstore, said years later that she'd fallen for him because, for the first time in ages, someone listened as if he mattered. That listening turned interest into affection. Practice for the next 30 days. Practice undivided presence for 10 minutes a day with one person. Put your phone away, ask deeper follow-up questions, and watch how people open. Presence is contagious. It sparks trust and safety. Women are biologically wired to attach to safety and predictability of calm energy. The emotional mastery, the calm in the storm. Attraction is less about the big gestures and more about how you hold yourself when things go wrong. Women notice who collapses under stress and who breathes through it. Emotional mastery is not being unemotional. It's choosing your response. Story. Michael in New York was in a relationship that dissolved because he panicked. At the first sign of trouble. Cold messages, a missed call, a misinterpreted text. His anxiety crept into the relationship and turned small issues into catastrophes. He read Stoic texts, learned breathwork, and practiced pausing before reacting. The shift was seismic. The next relationship never escalated into needless hardship because he could hold steadiness. His partner said she trusted him because his steadiness felt like a harbor. Practice. Use a 5-second rule when you feel triggered. Breathe in for 4, out for 6. Ask yourself, what do I control here? The answer is often only my response. When you manage your inner climate, you become magnetic. Women instinctively lean into calmness. Purpose, the gravity of a life in motion. Purpose is the energy that makes your life worth joining. Women aren't attracted to you because of flashy things. They're attracted to the story your life tells. Purpose provides narrative. It says this man is building something and you can be part of it. Story. Daniel in Sydney was aimless. He had a decent job, but no project that fired him. He moved from date to date, never anchored. Then he decided to build a coaching service for young men. He woke earlier, wrote daily, and poured himself into creation. He stopped chasing women and started showing a life in progress. Women noticed, not because his bank balance changed overnight, but because his eyes had a mission. Practice, identify one mission that matters to you. It doesn't have to be monumental. Learn a craft, start a side project, volunteer. Be the man with a map. Purpose is attractive because it promises a future, and human beings are wired to look for stability in others. 4. Authenticity. Be the man you are, not the mask you wear. Authenticity wins when performance fails. Too many men perform confidence. They show bravado, irony, and scripted charm. Authenticity is the opposite. Vulnerability with boundaries, honesty with strength. Story. In Toronto, Michael, not the same as earlier, used to try to perform as the fun guy, but it exhausted him. He began to show honest curiosity, occasional seriousness, and his real humor, and not the forced kind. A woman, Sarah, told him she loved how real he felt. It was rare. He didn't need to be perfect. He needed to be real. Practice. Reveal one real piece of yourself this week that you usually hide. Maybe it's a quiet fear or a small failure. Notice the difference when you stop performing. Authenticity invites genuine connection. First, boundaries. Your piece is non-negotiable. Boundaries are sexy because they show you value yourself. A man who tolerates disrespect teaches others how to treat him. Women respect men who respect themselves. Story. Jake in Manchester used to accept excuses and last-minute cancellations. He learned to set firm, polite boundaries. If she cancels twice without explanation, he moves on. Suddenly, his dating life improved. Not because he tricked women, but because he signaled that his time and energy were valuable. That signal rebalanced interactions. Practice. Name one line you won't cross. Communicate it calmly and stick to it. Boundaries aren't walls, and they're signposts for who you are. Stoic. Scarcity and value. Why your attention matters. Value isn't arrogance. It's selectivity. The psychology is simple. Humans desire what's not freely given. Don't confuse scarcity with games. Scarcity means you have priorities, and that your time is scarce because you're busy building a life. Story. In Los Angeles, Aaron learned this the hard way. He was always available, texts back in seconds, and rearranged his schedule constantly. Women enjoyed attention but didn't value it. He changed. He didn't ghost or manipulate. He simply lived consistently. He replied within a reasonable time, kept his plans, and didn't cancel his life. The result? The women who stayed were genuinely interested in him, not in what he could provide. Practice. Protect your schedule. Say no to small demands that eat your time and yes to what grows you. Your value is the combination of your time, attention, and purpose. 7. The mirror. Reflect emotion. Don't fight it. When a woman expresses emotion, don't argue with the feeling. Reflect it. People crave being seen emotionally. Mirroring builds intimacy and safety. Story. In New York, Daniel used to fix problems with logic. When his girlfriend cried, he offered solutions. She wanted to be heard, not fixed. When he began practicing mirroring, it sounds like you felt betrayed. I get that, she relaxed. The argument dissolved into conversation, and the connection deepened. Practice. Use reflective phrases. It seems like you feel. That sounds really hard. Or I can see why that hurt you. Validation doesn't mean agreement. It means recognition. 8. Mystery. Let her discover you. Mystery isn't dishonesty. It's reserve. It's living a life that isn't entirely on display. The less you reveal unnecessarily, the more she's invited to discover you. Story. Alex in London never bombarded anyone with his life story. He left room for curiosity. Women who dated him often told him they were drawn to that, not because he evaded, but because he suggested a depth worth exploring. Practice. Share in layers. Don't reveal everything in the first conversation. Leave breadcrumbs that invite discovery. People invest more in what they earn. 9. Competence and craft. Be good at something. Women respect mastery. It signals discipline and the ability to commit. It can be anything: sport, music, craft, coding. Competence builds credibility. Story. Liam in Manchester practiced the guitar daily. He wasn't trying to seduce. He wanted mastery. When a woman heard him play, she wasn't attracted to the chords, she was attracted to the discipline standing behind them. Competence signals reliability. Reliability builds trust. Practice. Choose a craft and commit to it for at least 90 days. Mastery is magnetic. 10. Communication. Clarity over drama. Clarity kills drama. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Avoid vague texts. Communicate like a man with standards. Story: in Sydney, Ben used to create tension by testing people with cryptic messages. It didn't work. He switched to clarity. I'd like to see you this Saturday. If you can't make it, tell me so I can plan my evening. Suddenly, the quality of his interactions improved. People reciprocated honesty. Practice: use clear, direct language for plans, feelings, and boundaries. Avoid passive aggression. Clarity is attractive.
Self-respect, the core that holds everything.
Self-respect is the axis on which all other elements turn. If you don't respect yourself, all techniques are empty. Self-respect is choosing peace over approval, integrity over applause. Story: Daniel, we've met a few Daniels, once begged for validation and paid with dignity. He rediscovered himself by practicing small, daily acts of self-respect, keeping commitments, walking away from disrespect, and prioritizing his growth. Women who respected him followed, not because he chased, but because he owned himself. Practice: every day do one thing solely for your dignity. Say no when it matters. Keep self-respect as a sacred rule. 12. The slow burn, attraction that endures. Attraction that lasts isn't a sprint, it's a slow burn. It's built by consistency. Being the man who shows up, who keeps his word, who keeps growing. Story: Michael, again. Different Michael, dated for years, always trying to impress. He learned to embody the slow burn. Consistent habits, steady improvement, and emotional steadiness. Years later, the woman he loved chose him, not because of a grand gesture, but because his life had structure, meaning, and depth. She felt safe and excited to invest in that. Practice: commit to long-term rituals, morning practice, weekly goals, reading, and deep friendships. Long-term men attract long-term relationships. 13. Use rejection as information, not punishment. Rejection isn't a verdict on your worth, it's data. Ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I grow? Rejection helps you refine yourself and your choices. Story: after several painful breakups, James stopped seeing rejection as failure. He viewed it as feedback. He adjusted but never sacrificed his standards. That mindset shift made him resilient and more attractive because it signaled unshakable selfhood. Practice: after any rejection, journal 5 things you learned and 1 action you'll take to improve. Use feedback without self-flagellation. 14. Physical presence, the quiet investment. Appearance matters because it signals respect for yourself. You don't need to be a model. You need to be groomed, fit, and presentable. Strength and posture matter. They change how you feel and how others perceive you. Story: Aaron in LA improved his posture, trimmed his grooming, and moved his body. The change wasn't to impress. It was to honor himself. His confidence rose naturally, and women noticed, not because of superficiality, but because his vitality changed. Practice: commit to 30 minutes of movement daily. Improve 1 grooming habit. Stand tall. 15. The circle. Surround yourself with men who elevate you. Your friends shape your standards. Choose men who push you, not drain you. The Stoic man builds a quiet brotherhood, men of integrity, who hold each other accountable. Story: Daniel found a weekly group of men who read, trained, and discussed life seriously. His growth accelerated. Women noticed his upgraded energy because his environment upgraded him. Practice: join a club, a reading group, or a training circle. Elevation is contagious. 16. The balance, warmth with authority. Attraction loves contrast, strength softened by warmth. Be firm but kind, lead without dominating, protect without controlling. Story: in Toronto, a man named Oliver combined kindness and decisiveness. He set plans, made choices, and showed empathy. Women felt the paradox and leaned into it because it combined safety with excitement. Practice: lead a plan, choose the date, the time, the activity, and remain tender in your listening. Maintain both. 17. The final rule: consent and respect above all. Be clear. Attraction must always be respectful, mutual, and consensual. Any model that reduces people to targets is toxic. Your goal should be to be a man who creates environments of mutual desire and respect, never manipulation. Story: every authentic relationship I know was built on mutuality. One person chose the other out of admiration, not coercion. When both are free and attracted, the bond is stronger. Practice: always check in. Read verbal and nonverbal cues. Step back if unsure. Consent is the highest standard. Putting it all together, a week-by-week plan. Week 1, presence and calm. Put the phone away during interactions. Practice breathing and pausing. Read a Stoic passage nightly. Week 2, purpose and boundaries. Start a 30-day project, set one boundary and keep it. Week 3, competence and craft. Commit to learning a skill for 30 minutes daily. Practice posture and grooming. Week 4, depth and authenticity. Share one real piece of you with someone. Join a high-quality social circle. Keep repeating. Small, consistent rituals compound into attraction that lasts. Stories to remember. James, London. Learned presence and became unforgettable not by a trick but by attention. Michael, New York, mastered calm and became a harbor for women's emotion. Daniel, Sydney, found purpose and became magnetic. Alex, LA, kept mystery and invited curiosity. Ethan, Toronto, chose integrity and allowed trust to flourish. Final words. If you want women to want you the ethical way, become irresistible by becoming disciplined. Build your interior life until attention is a byproduct, not the aim. Practice presence, master your emotions, hold boundaries, live with purpose, and always respect consent. The world will notice. The right women will be drawn not to what you say in a line, but to the life you live quietly and courageously. Start today. Make one change. Keep it, repeat it. Your life will rearrange itself around a better you, and attraction will follow, honest, fierce, and mutual. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.